Mama said. Mama said. What's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Ethan Wolt, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Football Show. Today's episode is another beer time breakdown, and we are going to go over Dante Culpepper in the NFC North, Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, the Bears. I married into a Bears family, man. Didn't like the Bears until I went over and watched a Bears game with the Bears family. Oh my God, dude, those people are crazy. And woo! And who else, Jason? I said the Packers, the Bears, the Lions,
Vikings, Bears. Yep. Oh my
God. So tune in to your favorite team, because everybody's favorite team is the NFC North, right, Jason?
Yeah, everybody's. So somehow they're the most popular team and the most interesting team. Did you know the Packers, they're actually owned by the community and not by an owner?
Yeah, there's a bunch of like radio shows like where some of the people, on the radio show are part owners, so they feel like they have a say in stuff. But it's all about that Gutekunst, I mean, I got to pronounce his name right? Otherwise, I might be saying a bad word. Gutekunst. Shout out to Joey Kuntz, North High School, Bakersfield, California, the butthole of America.
Oh yeah, Joey used to arc his back so much when he would bench press. I thought he would break it, and then he would do the whole like. Beep.
I was thinking of just him arcing his back a lot, and I was like, "How the hell do you know that?"
I just remember watching him in PE, and I'm just like, "Bro, you need to like straighten out your back." He's like, "This is how the bodylifters do it. 315 pounds," even though he only weighed like 120.
While everybody was lifting weights, I was drinking water at the drinking fountain. Suckers. All right, people.
Talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, before we get into this episode, Jason, please tell the public how they can help this show.
All right, yes, to all the fantasy football and friends, you guys can help us out by hitting the subscribe button, getting some alerts every time we post a video. You know, we got one coming out like every day. We appreciate some support if we get some views, some likes, some comments. We love the interaction. They're always entertaining when we get interaction. And you can also check us out at the Fantasy Football and Show on Instagram. Follow us there. Keep it going.
Oh, I cannot minimize Zoom when you're in a meeting, Jason.
Yeah, it turns like into a little box, right?
Yeah, I just did that. Okay, so we are going to get into the Vikings first. The Vikings won, I think it was 11-0 in one-score games. The Lions are on the ascension. They've got the number one offense. They're going to be drafting heavy defense. We'll talk about that later. So you can probably bet, it's probably a safe bet that the Lions are going to be better than the Vikings this next year, but we'll see, because I really like dude, I should have remembered his name, Brian Flores. I think that was an amazing hire. So if the Vikings can get that around, maybe that's something. But and then we have Aaron Rodgers probably leaving the Giants or the Packers. I just thought of a huge G, so I was thinking Giants. So they're going to be coming back down, and then the Bears, they are in rebuilding. They just got DJ Moore, but they need a lot of line. They need a lot of defensive help because they sucked at defense. But so the Vikings deserve to be talked about first, Jason. They won the division, and do you have any free agents that really hit you hard?
Oh yeah, and I think this actually hit a few people hard. Hard in the nut sack because get you that little ugly gut feeling that hurts, and you're just sitting there, and you're like, oh, Adam Thielen gone. Adam Thielen's gone. The dude was 32 years old, and he went to Carolina. Getting Justin Jefferson, he really did take like the number 2 role. He played with Stephon Diggs too, which is crazy. But during the Stephon Diggs era, Adam Thielen was still the man. Justin Jefferson came in, kind of took over that role. Now Adam Thielen's taken his talents to Southeast Beach in Carolina. And you know what? It's sad to see him go. I had him on my fantasy team quite a few times, and he did pretty well back in his like prime, you want to say. I think he can catch the ball great. He has great route running. He's 32 years old, though. He's kind of getting up there in age. He's not going to be as quick. Just sucks to see him go. Kind of sucks to see him get out of Minnesota.
I mean, yeah, Adam Thielen was one of those great value fantasy picks for people for like 4 years in a row, man. Like, he was always outperformed his ADP, but people didn't want to draft him high because, he doesn't get you that ceiling, the same ceiling as everybody else. But as far as consistency goes and touchdowns, and a Vikings fan, dude, Adam Thielen has been amazing. But yeah, so he's going to join up with another dude from the NFC North, DJ Shark, just got signed to the Panthers, and they're going to try to help out a young quarterback, whoever they draft. But yeah, dude, he's 33 years old. He's making like almost 9 million a year. So it's just like it didn't make sense for the Vikings anymore. And they've got KJ Osborne in the wings, who I really like, but I really like him as a slot receiver. I think that they need another big-bodied wide receiver to go with Justin Jefferson, but we can get into that later. But yeah, dude, Adam Thielen jumps off the page to me. As a Vikings fan, I was like, dude, he was like an undrafted he was an undrafted free agent that was signed. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even drafted,
Yeah.
and he went to like Minnesota State or something like that, and worked his way up, dude. I mean, he lived the dream for a while, and he's getting paid bank now by Carolina just to go help somebody. He's probably going to be a mentor now, but I expect him, as far as next season goes, he might get you like 5 touchdowns and like 700 yards, but he's probably not worth drafting anytime high.
I really like that stat because what this kind of feels like, this kind of feels like AJ Green to the Arizona Cardinals, like his first year. Was it like he got like around 800 receiving yards his first year, like 3 or 5 touchdowns? This kind of feels like the same thing. Unfortunately, Carolina, I feel right now is definitely in the rebuilding phase of the organization, and I don't really see a lot of fantasy value right now coming from that team. But we'll see, we'll see.
Hmm. And then they also so going on to the next free agent, Jason, as far as offensive is concerned,
Okay.
Irv Smith Jr., man. And they have not re-signed him. Like, he was supposed to be a breakout player for this team, dude. Like, hey,
Oh
waiver wire, pick up Irv Smith Jr., blah, 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 blah. Dude, like, he has been injured all the time. And the Vikings have not re-signed him yet. That means that they're afraid to. Maybe they're going to see like if he just wants to take, less money or whatever. But if you listen to the beat writers, they're expecting him to sign somewhere else.
yeah, they actually, you jumped the gun on me, Tyler. Those are going to be the honorable mention was him because he's a guy. He's a very athletic guy. He's a big build, but the thing is, he's been dealing with injuries for most of his career, and now they kind of don't really need to rely on him because they got little old TJ over there. So if they got TJ, who's going to be the starter, why do they need this guy? Right? Might as well just give him away and probably pick up somebody cheaper or draft somebody.
Yeah, and they re-signed Josh Oliver, who is kind of a blocking tight end. So now they've got TJ Hawkinson. So they're probably going to let their pass catching tight end go, even though, like, I mean, as much as I like TJ Hawkinson, he's been injured, man, off and off. I don't know if I'm sure he's finished the season, but from what I remember, he gets injured like almost every year since he's been in the league, which isn't very long, but still. So like Irvs, I think that they could probably, just off the top of my head, I think that they could probably draft a tight end this draft, and develop him, because it usually takes like 3 years. Even TJ Hawkinson, man, takes 3 years to develop. That's usually the pop year for a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So like having TJ is good right now, but I do think that they're going to need another pass catching tight end. Like, they don't really have one right now. I mean, other than TJ.
Right. Well, until then, I don't. I think TJ is going to be the guy until he gets hurt, and they're not going to really go after Smith. Smith
Yeah,
is so it's hard to sign a guy who's dealt with injuries most of his career. You know, who wants to pay big money for people who have who a tight end, a big body who has leg injuries? So good luck, good luck to him. Honestly, I
hey
don't
man,
think.
what about back injuries? That was Gronkowski coming out of college was like back injuries, and he like bruised his spine like 3 times in the pros. Some people can handle it, some people can't, and Irv Smith has not proved that he can handle injuries right now.
Mm-mm. So he might be out of the. But go on to somebody else, Tyler. Garrett Bradbury. He's resigning with the Minnesota Vikings. He's your guys' center. That with that being said,
And he's only 28.
yeah, he's actually pretty young. And the Minnesota, they were 22nd in sacks allowed per game. You know, they gave up 2.6, which I mean, not really great. You're in the bottom half, but obviously they like this guy. They also probably like the youth of Bradbury, and you know, with how many times they also like threw the ball, you would think like, oh, they're probably going to also be a lot of potentials against sacks. But I think bringing him back, they might. I don't know. They're going to have to like reshuffle that line a little bit if they want to work on not having Kirk Cousins on his ass most of the time, or his booty, his butt.
You can say ass, Jason, as this is a PG-13 show, so ass is
Ass,
included.
ass.
You
Okay.
can drop like three. Man, I was watching. You could drop like 4 F-bombs in PG-13 movies now, but
Oh,
if we drop one F-bomb, we're gonna drop 30 of them. That's how it goes.
I know. It'll be like opening up the floodgate. You'd be like,
Hey, if you want to hear us drop some F-bombs, come to Drinking with Apex. Stream that live after the show.
on Twitch, you'll definitely hear some swear words and us passing out.
Oh my god, dude. Anyways, Jason, yeah, so that center I think this is an offensive head coach. He came from the Shanahan tree, and you know how important that offensive line is. Like they pull,
Yep.
guards, they pull guards and stuff all the time. So having a center that knows the system is huge. It's gonna be his second year in the system. He's 28. He's making like $5 million a year, and I'm gonna pee my pants. Go to the next guy.
Oh, so it begins, ladies and gentlemen. We're 7 minutes in. This guy's already got to pee his pants. That means he's having a good time already. Yeah. With that being said, the offensive line was a little bit of an issue, and they're bringing back their center. Tyler said they're already like good with the system. I'm they got to do something else. Maybe they're going to draft some people. Maybe they have some other schemes planned up. But when you're in the bottom half and getting your quarterback sacked, obviously you need to work on that pass blocking. And then next, running back Alexander Madison is re-signing with the Minnesota Vikings. And part of the reason why I'm a little upset is because there was a lot of people wanting him to move forward in his career and actually go somewhere else. And just because of putting him as a starting running back somewhere, he could be a fantasy value. Right now, he's back up to Dalvin Cook. So, but there is rumors that they're trying to trade Dalvin. So they trade him. Maybe you could get that. We could finally get that Madison as a number one runner and be a fantasy relevant player.
So I think this is literally, dude. I think this is the biggest question mark. Like, 'cause we've had free agency, dude. What is this? March 24th. I mean, Zeke is. We're not getting Zeke. We would just re-sign Dalvin Cook. But like as far as and we're not. It looks like we're not getting any other running backs. They could save themselves $8 million by moving on from Dalvin Cook this season. So I don't know. I think it's going to depend on like how the draft goes. I think there might be aiming. I would imagine they're going to aim for a running back and a replacement. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but this is a very deep running back class for the NFL draft. And as much as I love Dalvin Cook, dude, this offense is not really reliant on the run, man. Like, we went over this. Like Dalvin Cook's one big run away or a touchdown away from having terrible games. Like one long touchdown saved his day like 4 weeks in a row near the end of the season.
Yeah.
So like as much I seriously, dude, I really love Dalvin Cook. I remember listening to like Jimbo Fisher coming out of college and all that stuff, and he was just I thought he was gonna be a rock star. He was, but now he's getting paid, and you don't really win paying running backs in the NFL, and especially if you don't utilize them. Like the Vikings are not utilizing Dalvin Cook, so maybe they send him off to his brother, over there in Buffalo, which would be pretty crazy. But I this is like a huge question mark. We need to see if they're gonna actually keep Dalvin Cook, take the not save the $8 million and pay him this next season, because it was a big deal that they brought in Alexander Madison for another contract. So my thinking is that they're probably going to get rid of Dalvin Cook after the draft.
I think there's a chance he might go before the draft. He might be used as
A chip, yeah, to get a pick or something.
to get like a pick, but we'll see. If the price is right, they'll get rid of him. If not, Dalvin Cook is going to be there again, which he would still go in the first couple of rounds of fantasy picks. Um, Once again, Tyler, I'm just kind of going off of this. I still think they need to work on that like offensive line and play schemes. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot going on with the Minnesota Vikings this year when it came to like even their defense falling behind and having to pass a lot, abandon the run. But they were 29th in rushing yards per game last year, but they weren't even averaging 100 yards a game, only 95. Um, and yet they were still what they were they were second in our conference in the NFC conference. Like it was just amazing that what they were able to pull off in their passing game last year with all those close victories. I think it was like a record. Didn't you say they were like 11-0 in like one score
Oh
game?
yeah, it was a record, and it's not going to happen again. That's totally luck.
Yeah,
And I mean, we saw some of the endings of those games. It's a Minnesota Miracle all the time.
yeah,
Um, but as far as you're talking about running or offensive linemen, Jason.
yeah.
Oh my God, I had this left. They re-signed their left guard, but he only played 10% of snaps. Chris Reed. They re-signed and the Bills took away their backup center, Greg Mance, who played only 2.1%. Their other left guard they re-signed. He, Austin Schlottman sounds like a Viking name.
Schlotman.
Yeah,
Schlotman.
and he played 20% of snaps. And interior defensive line, right tackle, left tackle, Blake Brandell. He played almost 25% of snaps. They re-signed him. He's only 26. You can see them maybe seeing something in him. And then also only 26. Olisi Meka Udo, right tackle, 11% though, and he did play. He's only 26 years old. So I think that they have some depth the offensive line, but they really have no stars. They need to spend some like draft capital on some stars, and they're going to have some depth at that position.
Yeah, because there's a huge drop off from the first string offensive line to your second string. But
You should know as a Dallas Cowboys fan.
dude, for real, Tyler. Let's get it right on the dinger for that one. Uh, yeah, but it looks like they are investing still a lot in their second string. So, and they are young. We'll see what happens. I think in the draft though they are gonna defense offensive line. I think they're gonna go and hit. But I'm ready to go on the defensive side.
Yeah, so you know who to talk about. Who is it?
Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive tackle. He's outie. He's outie. He went to the Browns. He's 29 years old. And he went to the Browns. That's going to be a huge hole in the center of the defensive line that they're going to be missing. It's going to help out the Browns a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, in the Browns, they've already have a premier edge rusher, and I know that we had the sacks leader through like week 7 or something like that. He was God, dude, Zachary. I can't remember his name right now. I feel like he came from the Packers last year. But still, dude, like we need to see. I imagine this guy might not fit Brian Flores' scheme, so they kind of let him walk. He only played like 48% of snaps, and he's 29 years old. But most defensive tackles are kind of on the older side, anyways. But still, I could understand the Vikings not wanting to give this guy a contract because he's making like 15 million a year almost with the Browns.
Oh, yeah. What am I seeing here? 57,000 or $57 million for 4 years.
If you're at 57,000, don't tell him my salary. Subtract some from that. But yeah, dude. So like I can see this. Like this kind of made sense to me. It's a defensive tackle that I really don't know much about. It's not a star defensive tackle, but I'm sure he's got some good stats about stopping the run or getting to the quarterback. That's the reason why people want him.
Right. To go off of that, like he is highly involved in that stopping the run game, but there wasn't really a lot of that going on the defense. There was really no stopping nothing. And the thing is, it's like that's not the only thing that the Vikings are going to miss. They're also going to miss their defensive end Marcus Davenport, who was 26. He goes to the Saints, and defensive end Dean Lowry. I think I wrote here 28. He's going to the Packers, so he's staying in division. And the loyal inside linebacker Eric Kendricks, 31 years old. He hit that 30 mark, and it's Time to say bye. Don't want to pay the money, but the Bears are happy to take him. So he's going to the Bears.
No, the
So
Chargers. So Jason, the Kendricks is going to the Chargers.
Chargers. Sorry, Chargers.
And
Yes.
Davenport came from the Saints. He's actually playing for this for
Oh
the
my
Vikings this year.
gosh, you are so right. I have right here 26 from Saints. Jesus, I can't
So
even read my
I
own.
actually think that's a good move. They got younger, and the Saints can stop the run. So
Yeah. So the last 2 years, they lost. The Vikings have lost their two linebackers who've been there for a while, Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks, who also played together at UCLA.
and they were awesome, dude. They were awesome for the Vikings.
They were great, but now they've moved on. So now they're going to have to rework that linebacker core, But yes, Marcus Davenport from the Saints, he's definitely going to be a help. But even to go on, before I go on, I just also want to say that Minnesota was. Why can I even find them now? Anyway, they didn't get a lot of sacks last year. Oh my gosh, why can I find
Here,
them?
dude. I'll tell
Oh,
you. The Vikings
were
only got
20th.
20 sacks. They were last place with 20 sacks in 17 games.
So they average 2.3 sacks a game. And then the cornerbacks, they got Brian Murphy from the Cardinals. He's 25 years old. He's there to replace Patrick Peterson, 32 years old. And Patrick Peterson, he's still playing. He's going to the Steelers, though. So they're going to have a different cornerback back there to help out that defense. But they need to be thinking. And like you said, Tyler, they got the defense coordinator, Brian Flores.
I just love Brian Flores so much. I was like, dude, who cares? Like whoever they're releasing, he's signing off on right now. So like, I don't really. It's funny because it's like as a Vikings fan, like I'm trusting Brian Flores because I know he turned around that Miami defense in like 6 games. And dude, like Kendricks, he's a 31-year-old linebacker. Like I'm 37, dude. And I mean, whatever. If I play, I'm just thinking like NFL, dude. I don't want old linebackers unless you're Ray Lewis in the middle or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm totally fine with all this. And then Patrick Peterson came over, from the Cardinals to the Vikings. I thought he was gonna be a lockdown corner. He played well some games, but he got injured a lot. He lost a step. And now he got signed by the Steelers. So he might show up for the Steelers because of their history and like maybe his last year or something like that.
Yeah, he's a good cornerback. He is. He did really well in the punt returns and just like interception returns for touchdowns for the Cardinals. But by the time he went to the Vikings, he's kind of up. He was up there in age. Like I said, right now he's 32. He's 32 and he's going to the Steelers, so he was around the 30 mark. I don't. I think this was kind of plain to see after his contract. The Vikings weren't going to go back and re-sign the 32-year-old, and they actually just got another person from the Cardinals, and they got Brian Murphy, who's 25. 7 years younger. So
I remember when I was 32, Jason, and somebody I went out to play softball. Somebody hit a baseball or a softball over my head. I turned, I sprinted, I felt something pop. I turned white, like I'm already white, but dude, I turned like a ghost. I had to hop the fence and cry, or I just started shaking because my body, I pulled my quad. So I mean, 32 is where you start to fall apart. I mean, I'm a world class athlete, so maybe most of you don't understand.
in the long jump,
Dude, I felt like I just jumped the long jump and I popped everything.
That's how I feel when I get off the couch.
Dude, that's how I hurt myself these days. Is like, dog, don't do that. And I stand up and it's like, oh my God, I just pulled everything.
Yeah. Yesterday, I got off the couch and I stood up and I got a cramp in my calf, and then I like fell to my knees, and my cheekbone here hit the couch and I bruised it. And then I was sitting in the doggy position on the couch, waiting for my cramp in my calf to move on with its life, so I could get up and walk again. And I'm just like, God, dang it!
I
What
was
is
like,
going on?
we have a king size bed. I had to like slide on my knees to like turn off the light. I missed the light pull thing, and all my weight went forward. I fell, dude, right on my face, and it was like, I was like, dude, things go bad fast.
Yeah, this is this is when we need to invest in doctors
Or robots.
or robots.
Okay, so Jason, that's all I really have I mean, I really don't care about much else on this. Do you have anybody?
Um, No, you took my honorable mention, so I think I'm done with
Okay.
the
So,
Vikings.
all right, well, we're going to talk about what what the beat writers are saying. They're like top 5 offensive, or not offensive needs, team needs. The first thing the beat writers say, Jason, they
Mhm.
need another wide receiver. So like they like KJ Osborne, but dude, they want Justin Jefferson. Like, man, like literally he was getting triple teamed for like the first half of the year last year. So they want another wide receiver. This is a deep wide receiver class. Maybe second, third round, draft a wide receiver, put him out there, because wide receivers are performing, their rookie year now. So they think that the number one offensive need is a wide receiver. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, you got rid of Adam Thielen. I think it'd be good to go out and get a number 2 for take some pressure, like a speedster to get some pressure off the top, so they're not having to triple team Justin Jefferson. Even though it doesn't matter, you could put 11 players on him; he's still going to do his thing. But yeah, not have to rely on him so much. I think that's good.
All right. So and then number two, they've only had 3 cornerbacks on the roster. So Cameron Dantzler, and then 2020. Oh, we only have. Oh man, that's crazy. Going through this fast, Jason.
Hmm.
They have 2022 second round pick Andrew Booth, and then 2022 second round or fourth round pick Caleb Evans. So they need to address that, and they're getting rid of the cornerback. So they're saying they want them to bring back Duke Shelley on a decent contract, but they really want to go like and draft cornerbacks and maybe address it in like maybe with some trades and stuff. So I totally agree, but I think with Brian Flores comes with new cornerbacks. He's going to have his his preference on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was really good they went out and got Brian Flores. Minnesota's defense just needs a whole revamp, you know. And if they're going to go after cornerbacks, that's great, right? That's great because they were number 31 in the league, giving up 266 yards a game for passing yards. So obviously, they are these beat writers know it's like we need to get people who could cover wide receivers and who could knock down the ball, intercept them, whatever. Um, yeah, that sounds pretty smart to me.
Yeah, and then next up, dude, number 3, another defensive. So it goes offense, wide receivers. This league is based on offense. They need to get their offense. If you have 2 good wide receivers, you can do a lot in this league. And then you're going to go all defense because you hired Brian Flores. So next up is, edge rushers. So Zadarius Smith was the guy I was talking about, and he has a chance to be a cap casualty, but I mean, I hope they keep him. I really like him. Daniel Hunter, it's still kind of uncertain if he's coming back. So Patrick Jones had some flashes late last season, but like they need to invest like in a third round pick or higher. They have not invested in anything third round pick or higher since 2005 in an edge rusher, which is kind of crazy to me. So like let's get Josh Allen, like a new not Josh Allen, Jared Allen,
Jared.
let's get somebody in there that can is established that can do something. So maybe before the draft or right after the draft, they might trade or get an edge rusher.
Yeah, well, that looks like they're already starting to aim for that with getting Marcus Davenport from the Saints at defensive end. Yeah, what I say earlier, they were in the bottom quarter of the league when it came to sacks per game. Yeah. So another way to stop the passing attack for on the offense is getting players that could get to the quarterback and sack him, push him down, hurt him a little bit, spit in their face.
Ooh. All right. And then next up, Jason, we're talking about running backs.
Okay.
So they're saying that this is like they need to draft a running back because Alexander Madison is very good. Like we all know Alexander Madison is good, but try to get an elite talent in there to either push Dalvin Cook or in case they get rid of Dalvin Cook. And as much as I like Dalvin Cook, he gets injured a lot, dude. And if they actually start running the ball a lot, there's a high chance he gets injured. And I really do like Alexander Madison, but I mean, it's yet to be proven if he can be a feature back because we all know, dude, in fantasy, you start Alexander Madison, like when Dalvin Cook starts, it's kind of a 50-50 shot. Like he might do well, he might just do nothing. So, like, when he's the main man, it's yet to be proven yet.
Yeah, I can see them going after a like rookie and just like that. If they have Cook still on the team, that could give them like motivation to be like, I'm not gonna lose my starting role to this new kid. But you're also right where Dalvin's been he's been dealing with injuries since his college years. So how much longer does he have in those legs? I think that's also part of the reason why the Vikings are trying to get rid of him or rumored to try to trade him. But you can't go wrong with getting a running back in this draft either. They got some pretty good options.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't mind that 5'8" dude to compliment somebody. I forget his name. Dang it. I no, he's 5'5". Deuces something. Anyways, and then the next up is number 5 need is interior offensive line. So Garrett Bradbury, you said, is a free agent. Ezra Cleveland is set to be free agent after this next year. Ed Ingram is coming off a rough year, so they really need some established offensive linemen. They've got their center, but they need, dude, it's all about offensive line this season. I mean, for every team. And if I could pick one thing I want the Vikings to invest in, it'd be offensive line.
Yeah, I think they need to do what Sean Payton's doing and just gut that thing up and start from scratch.
Gut it up, dude. Gut it up.
I feel gutted. I feel gutted.
Ooh, boy. All right, people. So we're gonna come back here in a second. Before you know it, we'll be talking about the Packers. So thank you and goodbye. Okay. Okay. What's up, fancy people? We already talked about the Vikings, NFC North champions. That's the division we're going over right now. And now we're going to talk about them Detroit Lions, who I've never had anything against, because guess what, dude? They've sucked forever. But I might have to start hating them pretty soon, Jason, when they start beating the Vikings on the reg. So,
yeah, I'm starting to hear that Lions are going to make the playoffs next year.
So, anyways, before we get into that, Jason, I want to give a shout out to Tim Teeters. Tim Teeters, you're a number 1 fan. Do you have any? Do you have any shout outs you want to give out, Jason?
Yeah, I love Tim Teeter. I will love to meet that guy. He sounds like a cool dude, especially the name says it all. Tim Teeter, Tim Taylor Teeter. Yeah, I got a coworker out there who was pretty nice, and she was like, you know what? I would like to watch you be all goofy on it. I even told her. I told her.
I told her.
I even told her. I was like, hey, just so you know, on Fridays we get a little bit tipsy up in here. Tipsy up in here. And she's like, oh, that's fine. I want to see this. I want to see you act stupid. So thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Much love. Send us some love. Yeah.
That's the Mac. He's like Mac dances. He's like riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Like, what is that? So I'm riding a motorcycle. Okay.
All right, man. So we're gonna get into the free agency first, and then we'll get into the offseason needs, for the Detroit Lions. So, Jason, any free agents kind of jump off the page for you?
Yeah, I mean, we've actually talked about this before, so I don't want to go really too much into it. They had their season record holder for rushing touchdowns last year, Jamal Williams, with 17. I actually thought they were going to keep him, but maybe he was just wanting more money, and they let him go. So he is now a Saint. So then you're just like, okay, so they're going to rely on DeAndre Swift. But they were like, no, we are also going to bring in David Montgomery right now and to replace that role. So they got David Montgomery, who's a couple years younger than Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is actually 27. I would think he's 35. For some reason, I feel like he's been around since the 90s. But David Montgomery, I like him as a runner. Tyler, you said it before. He played on that horrible Bears offensive line. Now he's coming to a top 5 offensive line. I think David Montgomery is back to being relevant for fantasy football.
Yeah, and the guy was asking the other day, should I keep Swift as my number 2 running back? I still think that Swift is a more talented running back than Montgomery, but hey, man, like Montgomery's proven he can finish a season. Like he can take a workload and finish the season. And I told him, it's scary that they're already getting a running back that can catch passes and protect the quarterback. So Jamal Williams could not, catch passes. So it was kind of left a whole role open for DeAndre Swift. So now with David Montgomery in there, we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. So I do have apprehension as being, Swift being a top running back. But as far as like, say I draft, tight end, wide receiver quarterback or tight end quarterback, I could see, DeAndre Swift being my not caring or being happy that he is my running back 2. So that would mean that you get him in the 4th round. At there, I kind of feel comfortable with him, but yeah, dude, just answering the question to that guy. But yeah, dude, Pokemon Master Jamal Williams is going to go down to the Saints and take over for the imprisoned Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. Um, I think okay. So that guy was also asking, like, he basically he left a comment on one of our shorts that we were talking about this last week, and he mentioned about Swift being a top 20 running back. Um, I think that's really going to stay the same. I think he's going to be in the near, you know, 20th, around that area for running backs. Again, I don't see much changing. I think David Montgomery, like I said this before, and I agree with you, Tyler. He's a more talented running back than I feel like in Jamal Williams and David Montgomery. I mean, David Montgomery could break tackles like no other. He's pretty good at that. But Swift is Swift. He's Swift. But I don't see much change. I still think they're not going to give him the ball as much, and they're going to rely on David Montgomery more and use him Montgomery more at the goal line. So I feel like the productivity of Swift is. I think it's going to stay the same. I think he's going to be in the top. He's going to be in the top 20. He's going to be near 20 overall at the end of the season.
Yeah, but the big thing is that they're not going to get what they thought. People were hoping that they're going to get rid of Jamal Williams and let Swift be the number one running back and just get a ton of carries. That's not going to happen. I think it's going to be more of a 50-50 split. It's going to kind of remain the same. And they're just kind of ensuring themselves even more by getting a pass catching running back who knows how to block passes. There you go. So, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's probably more of an insurance policy, but I could still see it being a 50-50 time split.
yeah. They're not going to give. Unfortunately, Swift hasn't been able to prove in the fact that he could take on a heavy load and stay healthy for most of the year. So
Speaking of heavy loads, Jason, I'll be right back.
again,
JK.
oh,
It's insinuating poop.
I was like, what am I going to talk about? I was going to talk about poop.
He said heavy load, man. That means it's going to be more than five seconds. It's going to be like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's when you got to run, but clenching your butt. Oh, that's a very talented run. My wife saw me do it the other day, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing? Looking like a duck."
And
But so Jamal Williams, just to kind of, I mean, he's going to the Saints. We kind of already talked about him too. Like, yeah, if got to keep an eye on Alvin Kamara. If Alvin Kamara's not playing, get Jamal Williams um earlier than expected. But if Alvin Kamara is playing, that's going to be probably there's going to be a lot of time sharing that. But the thing is, it's like so the Detroit Lions, when Jamal Williams was on the Detroit Lions, he was the goal line back.
17 touchdowns.
17 touchdowns, and I think only one of them was beyond 20 yards, right? He was the guy. They weren't giving it to nobody else. He was the guy. But at the New Orleans Saints, I don't think he's going to be just the guy. He's going to have to battle with the quarterback, Taysom Hill, and also Alvin Kamara if he ever does come back and whatnot. But the key is to keep an eye on Alvin Kamara.
No, you're right. And they did re-sign Craig Reynolds, who is like, he's kind of like a little scat back, but man, like he was on my waiver show for a little bit because I can't remember what was going on, but Swift was injured. Craig Reynolds is pretty awesome. He's only 27 years old. And then Jason, and who else do you stands out?
Well, so we talk about offensive line quite a bit. They actually lost a guard, Evan Brown, who's 26. He went to Seattle. He is a Seahawk now. So with that happening, they were like, we need to go get ourselves a guard. And they went out and got Graham Glasgow.
Is he from the Broncos?
Yeah, he's from the Broncos. He is. He's from the Broncos. He's 30 years old. He's from the Broncos. So they're going to add some experience on that line. We talked about it before, how the Broncos they went and got a bunch of players of free agency because they are also definitely revamping that line because of Sean Payton. And one of the Broncos players went to the Lions, and he's going to bring some experience. So, is it going to be another top offensive line for next year? I do believe so.
They're projected to be like top 6, but like I cannot believe I knew that guy was from the. I can't believe I knew that guy was from the Broncos. He's not even on my list here.
It's because you're an expert. This is why we do this. This is why you need to listen to Tyler.
I mean, I would say I'm really good at fantasy football, but man, like knowing that, we've dove way too deep into fantasy football this last year, dude.
I know. I know.
Uh, uh, but yeah, dude. So like, they got rid of Vitae. He's or no, they re-signed Vitae. He played 0% of snaps, and he's 30 years old. But anybody with a Hawaiian name, I'm paying attention to, dude. Halapu
Boys.
Vatae Vitae. Dude. Oh my god, I would be like, you were a starting lineman, please. But yeah, so like that's all I see. Left tackle Dan Skipper. He played 33% of snaps, 29 years old. So like, but he is still he's still a free agent. So maybe everybody's waiting until after the draft to see kind of what happens with him. I wouldn't mind them having a lot of depth. You know, if he played, 1 in 3 snaps there, I would not mind having that guy back because they had a top 5 offensive line last year. And yeah, that's left tackle Obanese. Obanese, dude. I mean, Easy is an amazing last name. He only played 0% of tackles, but he's 25 years old, so he's making league minimum $750,000 a year. But maybe they're going to move him around or something. Anybody with the last name Easy, I want on my team.
Yeah, because easy. I was trying to think of some puns like, yeah, because they're easy to get along with. They're easy to negotiate with. They're easy to teach. You know, we did have some like doubters, saying like, oh, what? Because we did do a post about the offensive line from the Lions, and I just want to say right now, like, Lions were number 11th in rushing yards a game. I think they did like 128, and they were number 8th in passing yards a game, doing 221. So they were in the top 10 at least in those categories. So overall, Lions have a good defensive line or offensive line. They have a good offensive line. So with that being said, look at the turnaround the Lions have done. You know, they barely missed the playoffs. They beat the Packers at the end of the year to prevent them from going. But was it really the offensive side? Now, was it, Tyler? Let's go over to the other side and let's talk about what they needed to do for that defense to help them out. And I'll
Yeah. So,
start.
yeah. And the first, what were you going to start it?
Yes. So I was going to go on with it. First off, inside linebacker Alex Azalone, they re-signed him, but then they lost other linebacker Chris Board to the Patriots. But they also re-signed defensive end John Kaminsky, who's 27. So their defensive line and their linebacker core, it's pretty much going to stay the same. You know, they had, oh my god, what's that guy's name? Like Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson was amazing.
Yes.
They need like an interior and another edge rusher that really can put pressure on a quarterback.
Yeah. So they need to do that. But one of the biggest things for the Lions last year that they really struggled with was their secondary, right? I think Darius Slay actually left the Lions last year and went to the Eagles.
And they had that amazing, that rookie a couple of years ago. I forget his name, but it was an African name. Oh god, man,
Now, are you
dude.
talking about that lineman?
No, 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 no. I'm talking. He's a cornerback and he's big. But he underperformed this year, and so that they trade, and then they picked up 2 free agents from other teams that are good cornerbacks.
Yeah. So the Lions were actually 30th in the league. They gave up 245 passing yards a game. So they were pretty much figuring out like, hey, we need to work on this secondary, and by God, they did. So they probably got the top cornerback in this NFL free agency, Tyler, and they got the guy from the Steelers, Cameron
All of
Sutton.
the, all of the what?
NFL free agents.
All of the. What's his name? What's his last name, Jason?
Oh, Sutton.
All of a sudden, they're pretty good at playing defense.
I think we need to discuss these little puns because I was so confused right there. I'm like, gosh, did I say another word wrong? I wouldn't be surprised. This beer is really kicking my ass right
It's a
now.
short, dude. That's a short right there.
That's that's a short. Yeah, that is a short. If they got him from the Steelers, he's only 28 years old. Um, Improvement, right? Um, Unfortunately, I mean, they struggled in the secondary, so I'm pretty sure they weren't really trying too hard to resign most of these players. Cornerback Mike Hughes, he was 26. He went to the Falcons. They ended up getting cornerback Emmanuel Mosley. Mosley, you know where he's from?
Yeah, dude. The 49ers, the number 1
Yes.
defense. So coming, and well, let's look. He played 30% of snaps there. So, 1 in 3 plays for the 49ers. If you're a cornerback, I'll take you.
They used to do that with Seattle back in Boomsday defense, whereas like anytime a Seattle player starting or on the bench got cut or let go, people chase them
It was a
because
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. Yeah. Oh wait, Doomsday was like the Cowboys and like the 80s or 70s, whatever. And Tyler, don't shake your head, bro. That's what it is.
This is for the shorts.
You make me drink. um, then Tyler, they go out and they get the debatable, one of the top safeties in this free agency. He did lead
Deshaun.
the league in it. He did lead the league in interceptions, but Chauncey Gardner Johnson, he's only 25, and they got him from the Eagles. I would say, yeah, the lotion. You know what I was thinking? Like, his name does sound like a lotion, like a lot. And my face is a little bit like dry. I wish I could have some Johnson on my face.
Some Chauncey Gardner Johnson Jr.
That was a sexual pun, but
Well,
never
I
mind.
was thinking, I heard, I heard. I'm not gonna even say it. Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoop,
that
whoop,
was
whoop, whoop.
that was a joke. I speak Johnsons when I drink. But yeah, so I would say overall, Tyler, their secondary is one of the biggest concerns for the team. They have improved it.
Yeah, and I know this from watching Hard Knocks last season, Jason. So I feel a lot better about the cornerback situation. They've got a good safety, so their secondary is going to be much improved. And I'm pretty sure they're keeping the same defensive coordinator, that dude with the dreadlocks, who was really cool last year in the Hard Knocks.
Aaron
And
Glenn
then,
is their defensive coordinator.
oh, you already know the name, so there you go. And then you remember that white dude that was like lighting up the Hard Knocks last year as a linebacker? He had like a Ramirez or Ricardo Ramirez. I can't remember his name. He
I
had a
don't know.
decent season,
I'm glad you
but
actually watched the Hard Knocks. I didn't.
I watch. I don't know why I watch Hard Knocks. I watch Hard Knocks every year. Except
Oh,
I did not watch the mid-season Hard Knocks. I was too involved into this show.
well, that's an Amazon thing, I believe. They do
Mm.
like Amazon does like they follow a certain team. I think it's normally Cardinals, right? Isn't the Cardinals they normally follow? Anyway,
Oh, yeah, it was the Cardinals, but yeah, like they re-signed Alex Anzalone. He played 95% of snaps. I think that's just for depth and just whatever. But they are gonna like they need to rework their linebacker core.
yeah, if they're going to rework it though, I mean, I still think Alex is going to be like the main guy. The main guy they're going to work around on that linebacker core. You don't sign
Yeah,
him to this and just be like, "Oh, you're going to be on the bench." I think he's still going to be there in the middle linebacker position, running a general.
you're right because he's making $6 million a year. So it's gonna be him, that white dude I was talking about. God, I wish I could remember his name. He was like, this guy's playing like a Pro Bowl. You guys need to watch him play like him. He was really good. And then, but yeah, that's pretty much it I have for I mean, there's some interior defensive linemen they lost, but it's like, dude, one of their biggest needs is an interior defensive lineman, anyways, to help out Aiden Hutchinson. So, and it's not like the Lions were known to stop the run. It's like their offense was a juggernaut, and their defense, it was historically good offense, historically bad defense last year. So, as
Yep.
far as losing players, like we shouldn't even concern ourselves with that.
The Lions would be so much better if they would just focus on defense, so they're not at the bottom of the league in every category. Even if they're
It's like,
midway, their offense was so good last year, they're going to win more games this next
I mean,
season.
yeah, I mean, you watch Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, last year or whatever. I mean, it's 2 years ago now, but still, like, yeah, defense probably doesn't matter in the playoffs so much, but like throughout the year, dude, you need a defense. To win your division and everything, you need a decent defense. And like, if you're a historically good defense, it does matter, but that's very rare. But Aiden Hutchinson is a historically good defensive rookie edge rusher, and so maybe if they turn things around, they could be good at defense.
We'll see. It looks like they're already starting to get players on the defensive side, so looks like they're aiming in the right direction.
Yeah. What else, Jason?
So some honorable mentions I wanted to throw out there. DJ Chark. no longer there. He's in Carolina. He's going to just Carolina's going to be a dead zone this year. Um, not seeing a lot of fancy value in that. It was like, duh,
I
duh,
know. I was thinking like, duh. But
duh.
DJ Shark, dude, won me or got me into a championship. I'm pretty sure when he was played for Jacksonville and he got a touchdown. Gardner Minshew, DJ Shark. Oh my god, dude, won me so many games. I was rolling him out there. He was like a top 10 wide receiver for a while. Then he got injured, and then the Lions traded for him, had him for 1 year, got rid of him. Uh, but they've got Jamison Williams. They've got
Yeah,
um, the Sun God Amon Ra. And they've got some other people on their wide receiver depth. So I think that they felt like they could get rid of him and invest in defense.
yeah. They probably like, we don't need to pay this guy. Yeah, yeah. I think you said the perfect person, Jameson. This is going to be his second year from his knee injury. He
I'm
got a
gonna
little
get him. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna
right,
get him.
right. So they're like, we don't need DJ. Unfortunately, he went to Carolina, but also I wanted to say that we got some oldies. Michael Brockers, who was a defensive tackle, 32.
Dude,
He's
he was
still
so amazing, man. I thought he was gonna be so good for the Detroit Lions.
he's out there in limbo right now. He hasn't been picked up. But with that being said, I'm done with that, Tyler. I'm done.
All right, so let's go to their top needs. Interior defensive line, Jason. We just mentioned this. Under contract, they have like McNeil, Owuziruki, and Demetrius Taylor. The beat writers feel like this is the biggest need. So like there's just a lack of push from the interior line. Dude, run defense struggles up the butt and around the corner. So it's like so yeah, dude, like you're going against Dalvin Cook, you're going against the freaking Bears. Um oh, and the Packers have a 1-2 punch too. So they really need to get their interior defensive line a star. And I mean, I need I didn't even check to see what their top pick is this year, but they played too well last year. They cannot get that Penn State guy or the dude that killed somebody in a drunk driving accident. So those are the two guys.
yeah. Yeah.
What, Jason? You think a lost life is funny? Why are you laughing? Why are
No.
you making jokes, dude?
What's that guy's name, dude? Is that Jalen Carter?
Yeah, Jalen Carter. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm
Something
not
like
going to. I will be fully exonerated when I plead not when I plead guilty.
yeah, also they got their own experts out there. There's probably people that we're not even aware about, or they could have somebody that they know that's going to fit their scheme better than those two players. But yeah, I think they have a later pick just because they almost won the division, almost made the playoffs, so they're going to probably be around the 15 to 20 yard or 20 draft pick. So if they're still going after defensive line, they did pretty much they picked up a lot of people in free agency for in the secondary, the cornerbacks and the safety, defensive line, interior defensive line. Since I just said what's that, the Brooker guy is in limbo right now. He's not even playing. They're definitely going to need to get an interior line guy. Man, they might be able to do that in the round 1 or 2 of the draft.
Yeah, and then we already talked about this, but it's cornerback was their next highest need, but they addressed that. And I want to say that the last year the Lions finished 31st in yards per attempt allowed, 25th in passes defended, 23rd in pass defense, and 30th in drop back efficiency, pretty much. So if a quarterback dropped back, I mean, dude, he was pretty efficient. So they addressed that this year. I can still see them. I mean, there's a couple good corners this year. Porter Jr. keeps on falling because of his 40 time, but I like what Steve Smith came out and said about him. Steve Smith, the Carolina wide receiver. So like, if they can get somebody like if they can get a star and there's not the defensive tackle there, I could see them going that way.
Yeah, as long as they keep working on that defense, the defense, like what you said, Tyler, and the stats you gave, historically bad, historically bad. They need to improve on that. Um, I think with what's going on now, and we're going to see the pack. I mean, we're going to talk about the Packers, but with the Packers, getting rid of maybe, I mean, when they get rid of like Aaron Rodgers, we're going to see like maybe a jump in this division with the Lions and the Vikings and the Bears and the Packers. So but they definitely need to work on that defensive line in order for that to do well, and they can
Yeah.
do better next year if they
And
just work.
Jeff Okuda, Jason, was the guy that I was thinking about. He shut down some guys his rookie year, then he kind of had a bad second year. But let's see him with Brian Flores.
Because there was tape on them.
And then next up, Jason, linebackers. So that was Malcolm Rodriguez, was that star white dude I was telling you about who was just lighting people up.
Yeah.
But other than that, they have got Derek Barnes, and that's it, dude. That's it. And so they re-signed Alex Anzalone or whatever, but they need depth, man. Like, dude, just look at the Eagles, man, or whatever. Like, you kind of need depth over a lot of stuff, keep people fresh, and that is not one of their strengths.
Yeah, I'm actually like clicking through here. I'm trying to see like what they're they were 30th. Oh no, wait, that's the wrong one. So I already said they were 30th in the league in pass uh and giving up passing yards with like 230, which is like some ridiculous amount. And then for like sacks per game, they were able to only get what I'm looking here. Yeah, if I 17, they were 17th and
Ugh.
only getting like 2.3 sacks per game. So they're once again, their defense is at the bottom part of the league. So we're not doing raise the roof. We're talking about like the floor needs to come down a little bit more.
LeBron James.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
What are we doing right now? Oh
I
my
know,
god.
dude. Next up, Jason, they need to get another tight end. They have under contract James Mitchell, Derek Deese. But yeah, man. So they just need another tight end to replace what's his name, dude? Oh
Okay.
my god. TJ
Okay.
Hawkinson. So TJ Hawkinson was a first round draft pick. He was the number one tight end that season. He was supposed to be the next Gronk. He was not. He is pretty good. I mean, you can just watch him right now. He drops a lot of passes for my Vikings, but still. So they need another star tight end, like to help out Jared Goff, work the middle of the field. But Amon Ross St. Brown is so good in the slot. It's not like it's a huge need, but it could help them out.
Yeah. And you know what? There was a thought that maybe Dalton Schultz was going to go there. You know, it was an option, but he decided to go get 1 year, $99 million contract with the Houston Texans. I don't know, but yeah, they do
And then,
need a to work on their tight end.
and then lastly, Jason, interior offensive line. So I mean, dude, what's his name? You've only person I've heard of is Frank Ragnow. I mean, I know he's actually a really good offensive lineman. But they're gonna lose some people. I forget who we talked about already, but they re-signed Evan Brown. Well, they're trying to hopefully re-sign Evan Brown. Tommy Kramer is a capable backup. His status is uncertain. So, like,
Excuse me, Tyler.
what's up?
Evan Brown went to Seattle.
Oh my God, you just said that. I'm
Yeah.
reading what these. Sorry, because to see what these beat writers said about their needs, you have to go back what happened before free agency. So I'm kind of like reading this stuff right now. I read it earlier too, but you drink, you forget. And so yeah, dude. As far as so that just even goes further that they need some depth on their offensive line. Like, yeah, dude, like their starting group is great, but let's get some depth there.
Right. Get some depth. I mean, they actually lost a young guy because Evan Brown was 26 years old, but they still bring in a veteran, 30 years old on the line, being 30. I'm okay with that, honestly. Linemen could last a very long time. We just saw Trent Williams play for the Cowboys, and it was like his 20th season or something like that. But as long as you stay healthy, over 30 and being a lineman, I'm okay with.
Oh, all right,
Oh,
party
look at
people.
that doggo.
She just came over to me. She was sleeping on her mom because her mom is over there snoring.
Ooh.
Oh
How can
man,
she sleep in these exciting times?
and this dog's breath smells like poop. You know why, Jason?
Because he ate poop.
Because she eats poop for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She's like, "Where's the poop?"
Oh, she's gets that protein.
Fiber and protein when you eat cat turds, because all
Yeah,
that hair.
chocolate
Oh.
protein.
I call my little almond rokas when she eats the little cat turds because
I don't know why I just laughed like that. I was like,
Oh, that's gonna become a short, Jason, and you're gonna be embarrassed for your family.
For my family. Oh, the youth vault name will be put to shame.
Hey, dude, all you have to do is Google Youth and Bolt, and it narrows it down to your family. So watch out.
I know.
All right, people, we will be right back. Please come back, and we're going to be talking about the
Green Bay Packers.
boo. Thanks, Jason. Okay, okay. What's up, people? You better hurry up and get here because Jason's turning into Hellboy, straight red, or maybe that dude from Avengers. He's going to be like meeting you to give you the Soul Stone, the devil. So, like,
I'm in
get
love with WandaVision. Wanda.
oh yeah, Vision. So anyways, this beer is making us red. Not me, because whatever. But Jason's one of them whites people, man. He's like the whitest of the white. He's got that white skin.
This is what happens when you don't drink any water or eat any food throughout the day. You just get super dehydrated and start turning red as if I just played a full court basketball game for 90 minutes.
All he is missing is a sweat, man. How you turning red with no sweat?
Oh man, I got my hat, dude. My hat hides the sweat.
You're like an Eminem when you put your hat down like that.
That's right, 8 Mile, 9 Mile, because I'm extra.
So we're gonna be talking about, dude. I never liked them anyways, and guess what? I married into the Bears family because I don't have anything against the Bears. I mean, when's the last time the Bears been good? I mean, I really like
Green Bay
Devin Hester.
Packers. Green Bay Packers. Green
I mean,
Bay Packers.
yeah, dude. I mean, I like Devin Hester. I like all these Bears, but guess what, dude? I hate the Packers, man. I hate them.
Yeah, dude, you got me all confused right now, dude. I hated that. I did not get that intro at all. Who are we talking about, Tyler? The Packers, right?
They're right here.
How do we do reshoots, man? Let's pull a Warner Brothers for DC Universe and do some reshoots here.
I gotta go
Yeah.
get. I gotta go let this dog out real fast.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we are talking about the Packers. I was hearing about the Bears first, and I was thrown off guard. Obviously, the one of the number one players in all of NFL fantasy is coming from the Packers, and they're trying to figure out when this is going to happen. But it is Aaron Rodgers. I've heard reports that the Packers are, they are going into the next season with Jordan Love as a quarterback. So Aaron Rodgers,
Bako boy, Bako boy, Bako boy.
he's from Bakersfield, California, and then I think he was a Utah Ute. I could be wrong, but I think he was a Ute. And then he's been a backup to Aaron Rodgers, and now they are saying he's going to be the starter for next year. So what does this mean for Aaron Rodgers? Where is he going? Where's he at? He's in limbo right now. We're waiting to see what happens. Everyone's saying that he's going to be a Jet. And with that being said, Alan Lazard also left the Packers to go be a Jet. Dude's 27 years old. And I think right now it looks like the Jets are actually trying to build some capital to give to Aaron Rodgers or to the Green Bay Packers for Aaron Rodgers, as they just got rid of Elijah Moore for some couple of draft picks, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. And we're waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, I do want to say, let's just get Aaron Rodgers out of the way. I do think he's going to the Jets. They traded, they're going to probably give up 2 second-round picks for him. And I mean, people thought that was going to happen real fast, but maybe they want even more compensation because the Green Bay Packers really wanted a first-round pick for him, but that's not going to happen. That's me burping and blowing on the mic. If you didn't know, smell that. And what was I going to say, dude? Oh, I believe in Aaron Rodgers next year. I would draft him as my quarterback. I think he's going to do really well for 1 year.
Yep.
So I bet you I would bet money that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a better fantasy year than Jordan Love.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely going to have a better fantasy year than Jordan Love. He's going to be the Brett Favre 2.0 and go to the Jets and tear it up just like Brett Favre did. We're looking at the same thing where you got a defensive coach. He doesn't really need to teach Aaron Rodgers anything because Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Watch, it's going to happen. He's that good. He's going to have the weapons. He's going to have a run game. He's going to have a defense. he's going to be likely battling Josh Allen for that division, right? So, and then after that, he's going to be a Viking, and then
That's why I
throw,
was like, "Oh, he's gonna follow Brett Favre's legs," and I was like, "Yeah."
yeah, he's going to take the Vikings to the NFC Championship and throw an interception on his last pass.
Hey, all he's got to show is a dick pic to some cheerleader on the
Yeah.
Jets. And then when he retires, steal a bunch of money from like needy people like me. Like, what the hell are you doing, Brett Favre?
allegedly, allegedly.
You know what? You come sue us too. Sue the fantasy football show. Take all my money. Think what I care. Guess what, dude? If you want all my money, you'd be in debt.
The only thing it'll take from me is some Wranglers.
Why
That's
don't
all
you
I
go get
got,
that?
man.
Why don't you go put that copper fusion up your butt, dude?
And mow it over with some John Deere, dude. I don't know.
Pat McAfee, come at us. I mean, no, shout us out. I don't want you to come at us. I really like Pat McAfee.
I do too. I do too. Even though they don't really talk about fantasy football, they talk about straight up knowledge of NFL. But I'm just like, I like Pat McAfee. Not so much
Well,
it's a little crew that falls around him that just like, well, no. But
I
other than
know.
that,
I'd be like, Pat, you're wrong, dude. You're wrong.
yeah. But then he's like, you're off the show. So I'm like, yeah, dude, you're
Well, I got my own show, dude.
the fantasy football and show.
All we
With
need is like 904 more subscribers, and I might get paid.
yeah, money, money, money. Anyway, so I think Aaron Rodgers also gave like a list of people to the Jets. So like, this is who I want on the team before I even decided to go over there. One of them was Alan Lazard. They did get Alan. They did get Alan Lazard over there. There's a chance that Randall Cobb. They might look into Randall Cobb. We'll see.
Plus, Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis is a free agent. He's 39 years old, dude. If you're older than me and you're in the NFL, you better be freaking Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Apparently, he is a great blocking tight end. So
He played 40% of the snaps last year, 41. But yeah, Jason, did you notice how short the list was? The free agency list for the Packers?
well,
That's
this
why.
isn't it's not a surprise, Tyler. Green Bay Packers are never heavily involved in free agency since they got Reggie White the first year of free agency in like what 1992 or something like that. They've never been really highly involved in like picking up players or getting rid of players or whatnot, you know. So I wasn't surprised when I saw how short this list is.
Yeah. And like you said, Mercedes Lewis. I mean, we talked about those two. I was surprised that they let Bob Tunyon go.
Yeah, to the Bears, where I'm also like, okay, that Justin Fields only throws the ball 30 times a game, and now they brought in DJ Moore, and you already have Cole Kmet, and now you got another tight end who can catch the ball and score tight ends. I'm like, dude, am I even going to worry about Cole Kmet this year? I'm like, oh my gosh, you're killing me when it comes to the fantasy football. You look like Robin from Batman.
Well, that guy's name was Burt Ward. I'm his great grandson. Uh, what was I gonna say? You said something about I put this up for Batman.
I don't know. I there's not enough passing attempts. There's not enough passing attempts in Chicago for Tanya to even be like a relevance there, or even Cole Kmet. Like, what are they gonna do? Split time? Like, it's kind of confusing to me. I guess I still would kind of want Cole Kmet just because his ability as a tight end, he's more athletic than Robert, but it's still confusing as hell right now.
I was gonna be like, I was gonna be, man. I had something for it, but I totally got into it, and I looked at myself on the camera, and I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. Hey, this is sorry, Packers fan, but this is what you get. You get the messed up big turd and
Yeah,
lucky bastard.
you get the messed up version when you only got 7 people out in free agency.
So yeah, Jason. I mean, that's pretty much all I cared about. I mean, so they're this is a good tight end draft. Tight end running back draft is what I've heard a lot. So like I can see them and they're really good at developing players, but I'm surprised, dude, because if you listen to like George Kittle and Travis Kelsey, they love Big Bob Tunyon, Robert Tunyon. So like with a rookie quarterback coming in, you'd think that they'd want to give him a safety blanket type of player like Robert Tonyan. And I would probably would have invested in Robert Tonyan maybe if I missed out on the first tight ends, maybe just wait super late. But now I don't care. And it's like Cole Kmet and Robert Tonyan, dude. Like, go fight over that tiny little piece of pie. I was doing this, and then I just went over my eyes. I don't know.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I get
I went
that.
like a piece of pie, and I went like this,
Right.
and then
It
it
kept
turned
getting
into this.
smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it turned into Batman. Batman. I mean, I get it. I see what happens now. Yeah, and you know what? You even mentioned before, Mercedes Lewis. He is a player right now in limbo. He's on the free agency. People are trying to go after him, but he's asking for a little bit more money, even though he's 38 years old. Um, some of the players I want to talk about is also like on defense, and it is opposite from Alexander. It's how do you say this, Tyler? Kyshawn Nixon. Kyshawn Nixon.
Kyshawn Nixon. I like that. Kyshawn Nixon.
Yeah, so they were able to re-sign this guy. He's 25 years old, so he's going to play on the opposite side of Alexander. And then you got the safety Jonathan Ford. They re-signed Jonathan Ford. He's 27 years old. He had some big games this year. I know against the Dallas Cowboys, he was part of the reason why the Green Bay Packers were able to have that comeback because he was able to get 2 interceptions off of Dak Prescott. And then they also got the Tarvarius Moore, the free safety from San Francisco 49ers in the backfield. So, and you know what? The Green Bay Packers were one of those teams that they didn't really struggle with their secondary, right? Their secondary was 6th in the league, only allowing 197 passing yards per game. That's under 200 yards. But yet they made sure to get to re-sign players and to get players from other teams, especially the 49ers. You know, they're one of the, if not the top defense in the league. You know, I said top 2, and some guy was like, they are top 1. I'm like, okay, in most categories, yes, but
It's because you're a hater, Jason. You're a hater.
I know I'm a hater
You're a Cowboys 49er hater.
when I spit facts. You know, I hate the Niners, but you know what? When it comes to fantasy footballing, you just got to tell it what it is. And the 49ers defense is pretty damn good. But yeah,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So back in the day when the Cowboys were good.
I'll tell you what, brother.
Mm.
The 80s were something else with the Cowboys acting the way they were. Whoa! But yeah, so the Niners really and they also got Jordan Reed, or they lost Duran Reed, who's 30 years old. He went to Seattle.
Adrian Amos, Jason. He played 95% of snaps for them, making $9 million a year, and he still isn't re-signed. He's a safety, and he's only and he is 30th.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. He's a free safety, and I don't think they're going to re-sign him just because they got Tarvarius Moore from the 49ers, who's also a free safety. And they're also their other defensive end, Dean Lowry. He went to Minnesota, so he's going to stay in the division. So they lost him. It looks like the offense is pretty much going to be the same, except they lost their, Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe when they lost Alan Lazard, but they were more focusing on the defensive end or the defensive side of the ball. They lost a few players, so it looks like I think when they go in the draft, they're going to be drafting defensive ends or defensive line at least.
So yeah, dude, you didn't want. I mean, people were talking about getting Lazard this year. That didn't turn out. You don't want Lazard this next year with Garrett Wilson on that team. And I think they kept Corey Davis around too. I mean, Corey Davis could probably overtake Alan Lazard for all I know. And what else was I talking about, dude? Oh my God, I had somebody in mind. It doesn't matter, probably. Oh, defensive lineman. You talk about Dean Lowry. They had so like the Vikings had to get Lowry. Looks like this might have been a cheaper option. Like, Lowry's only going to make, under 4.2.
For 2 years.
We talked about that dude from the Vikings making $15 million a year. Like, unless you have a star defensive lineman, like a freaking star, you know, like you do not pay him. And even though like we're the purple people eaters, man, we're supposed to have amazing defensive line. But right now the league is, you know, transferring over to that offensive. The Bears seem to be stuck in the linebacker era. But the Vikings are moving forward with offense.
Yeah, and this is also a thing with Green Bay is that they were their secondary was pretty dang good, but their defensive line wasn't all that great. They were 26 in the league with only getting 2 sacks per game. 26. That's the bottom. That's the bottom of the barrel. You know, that's when you're just eating scraps. And then they go and lose their 2 defensive ends. I can't. If they're not going to get anybody in free agency, you know they're going to get people in this draft on the defensive line. They have to. They have to.
Dude, it's so funny. Okay, so let's just get it right into this because we already, whatever, dude. We already went over that. Really not a lot of free agency for the Packers this year. Every year. But the Packers' biggest needs, according to the Dairyland Express, which I think is cool because they're in Wisconsin, is the edge rushers. So, you know, they lost the Smith Zadarius to the Vikings. They haven't, like, you can't even think of an edge rusher from them. Dude, most important positions, what in football? Like tackles, edge rushers, cornerbacks, quarterback. So, yeah, dude, that's one of the most important positions, and they do not have one.
Yeah, they lost both of them to free agency. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers. The Green Bay Packers are not a team that actually get pretty active in free agency. So they have to go defensive line in the draft. They have to because they're losing their defensive ends. So they have to go defensive end, defensive line in the NFL draft.
Sorry, dude, we got some serious
Bone
activity. You know what I'm talking about? I threw that. I think my dog's in heat again. I thought these dogs only go in heat once a year. Dear Lord.
You need a water bottle to start squirt. You need like a Super Soaker 3000 and be.
Well, he's like a robot. Like I'll like pick him up off of her, and he's still like,
I feel something.
He's just like me, dude. I mean, I was like, I'm a sex machine. Stop it. So next up for the oh my god, can you hear them growling and stuff?
I hear something like one's growling out the other, like, turn around, you're mine now.
Okay, so interior defensive line. We talked about Reggie White, but so the middle of the defensive line was supported by, yeah, dude, it was actually supposed to be a strength, but they underperformed. They have a first round pick in Devontae Wyatt, but he has not performed as expected. So they did not live up to the hype. Lowry is disappointing. You know, Wyatt actually did turn it on late. But you know, maybe that was just learning the NFL and stuff. But they need some they just need a defensive line, dude. I was just talking about how important it is for the offensive defensive line. They have really nobody on the defensive line right now, and that needs to change. I mean, they're going against like Aiden Hutchinson and stuff right now. Even the Detroit Lions have a really good defensive line, and the Packers need that.
Yeah, one of the players or one of the people, one of the stats I'm looking at here is also so their defense in the secondary was great, right? But still, you know, they lost quite a few games, giving up some points. They were 26 in the league, giving up 139 rushing yards per game. So with that, you know, they're not getting the sacks. They're not stopping the rushing defense. You need to work on that defensive line ASAP, especially now because you're not going to have Aaron Rodgers to back you up or to help you out of any hole that you're in. You're going to have this guy, Jordan Love, even though he threw some pretty good footballs out there, when you're like, damn, okay, I see you over there. With him being his first year as a starter, you're going to need a really tough defense. You're going to need your defense to play well, play tough, play well, play tough.
That's exactly what I've heard from the insiders. And so like you're going to need your tight end, which they lost, and a good defensive line and a good defense to help this guy out, and a good running game, which they're going to have a good running game. And as far as offensive line goes, usually Green Bay has a really good offensive line. I think they might have had top 10 at least last year. And what's his name's going to be back? Bakhtiari, I'm pretty sure. So he was injured all year last year. He's an all pro. He's an all pro left tackle. I forgot what I was going to say, dude.
Yeah, so I'll just take over here. If you forgot. So Quay Walker is somebody that they got from Georgia last year. He was a rookie. He actually played pretty well for the games that he didn't get kicked out of because he was like pushing referees and all that nonsense. That's a start, right? He's a rookie linebacker. You played pretty well. That's a start to rebuilding that linebacker core defense of line. So I think they're going to try to like do what they can to like build around that, and they have to go defensive line in this draft. They have to. They have to focus on the defense. They have to.
So yeah, there you go. Sorry, Jason. Thanks for taking me home.
Yeah.
Next up was the safeties, and they actually, it's Amos and Savage, and they were trending towards being one of the best safety tandems in the NFL. But then last year they regressed really, really bad. And so, anyways, yeah, he was 2 steps too slow all season long, as far as Amos was. Savage was even worse. So Green Bay hasn't re-signed either of them, really, pretty much. Savage and Amos ranked 88th and 82nd in safeties. That's not good.
Right. And that's why you saw Jonathan Ford get a lot of playing time last year because of how their safeties were playing. Their safeties were playing like crap. So they had to bring in Jonathan Ford. You know, like I said, he already had like two touchdowns, like 2 interceptions against the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. I mean, he only really played in I don't know how I'm reading this because it is not correct, but they had to bring him in a lot, and they re-signed him, right? So there's a chance that he's probably going to get even more playing time like next year because they were paying a lot for their safeties to play well, and Savage was part of the situation where they weren't playing as well as they were getting paid to. So they had to try something else, bringing other teams or bringing other players.
Yeah. This dog biting me. Next up, Jason, we talked about this already. Tight end. So
Yeah.
they got rid of Tunyon. Mercedes probably not going to get re-signed because if Aaron Rodgers is gone, they don't really care about. That's kind of a favor to Aaron Rodgers. And so now it's just Josiah DeGuara and Tyler Davis. So they desperately need a pass catching tight end. Number
Yeah.
2.
I mean, the only thing I could think about since they got rid of that dude and let him go to the Bears is that they are just banking off of the NFL draft. I mean, where else are they going to get one right at this point, right? Like Dalton Schultz gone. He's a Texan. I think they're going to wait till the NFL draft before they worry about a tight end. So,
Dude, there's like some crazy stuff going on right here. Okay.
sorry.
No, these dogs are insane. Insane, man. Okay, so next up, we should already know this, Jason. What do you think the number one, this is an offensive league, Jason. What do you think is the number one need?
Quarterback?
I know I would say quarterback too if I was you, but there's not a lot of depth at so they have a second round wide receiver. So they just got rid of Lazard.
Are you saying so you're framed for the draft?
No, I'm just saying free agency in general, draft and free agency. They say they need
A wide receiver because Randall Cobb is even probably. I mean, he is an honorable mention that I was going to throw out there that he's even a free agent right now in limbo. He hasn't signed with anybody, so they've lost 2 wide receivers, and one of them, and so the wide receiver core right now is a rookie last year that kind of underperformed most of the year until he kind of got things clicking with Aaron Rodgers and Dobbs, who was kind of like the go-to guy for the first part of the year and then underperformed the rest of the year. So they have inconsistent wide receivers right now.
Yeah, and so second round pick Christian Watson. I really love Christian Watson coming out, but if he's playing with Jordan Love, I'm not that excited. Like if I had Christian Watson as my third wide receiver, I'd be happy. If I had him as my second wide receiver, I'd be nervous. So I mean, he's a boomer bust. He's gonna be like Gabriel. I mean, dude, Gabriel Davis last year. You know, I mean, Gabriel Davis had better resume and all this stuff. But this is gonna be the number one wide receiver, not the number two like Gabriel Davis. But still, dude, boomer bust type of stuff. And when we saw Jordan Love, it was like from behind, you know, or they were playing off. They're playing prevent defense kind of stuff, and they're throwing slants like that long touchdown to Watson. I was
Yeah,
listening, I was listening to some Albert Breer or something, and he was just kind of going through what he saw from Jordan Love, and that was like when he played, it was like under excellent circumstances, you know, like prevent defenses and stuff like that.
yeah. I think at the time that Jordan Love started was against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was just a simple like drag route, crossing route that Watson caught, but it was because of his speed. He was able to turn the corner and score a touchdown. It wasn't like anything be a 10-yard pass or a 20, 30, 40, 50-yard pass. It was just a drag route.
But he was like in the same company as Randy Moss with the touchdowns and the amount of games that he played, you know, or whatever. But Christian Watson is gonna. I bet you he has less touchdowns this next year than what he did last year. But we'll see how that works.
What did he get last year? Do you remember?
No, dude, but he was. I think he at least had five because, like, in 5 games, I think he had five because he had 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So you think he's going to being a full year playing? You think he's going to be less than 5 with Jordan?
Yes. Yeah, I think and it's going to come from the running backs and the tight ends, maybe the second wide receiver. Romeo Dobbs was a 4th rounder, and then 7th rounder Samari Torre, but Torre was only good on the streaks from Aaron Rodgers. So they desperately need wide receivers.
Yeah. They have to go after one in the draft. They have to.
All right, people. So, Jason, that was really short, but not a lot of people to cover on damn Packers. Plus, we hate them. We hate them so bad. I do want to say, dude, I went to Madison, Wisconsin with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, whatever they're called. And my brother, dude, he ordered instead of steak and eggs, it's like fish and eggs, dude. So they do deep fried fish on top of eggs. I was like, give me this steak, but the steak and eggs and like everything with it. I ate everything. But like I thought it was crazy that they eat fish with their freaking eggs, man. I do want to say they know how to do their cheese and they know how to do their sausage, man. I love me some cheese and sausage from Wisconsin.
Oh, I bet.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jason, you're German, man. You know about them cheeses and them sausages.
Yeah, I bet they are great with the cheese and sausage. But that fish and eggs, oh, I hate seafood. What the heck? Why do they like seafood? They're in the middle of nowhere.
Dude, the Great Lakes, man, are like the ocean.
And they get fish from the Great Lakes?
Yeah. I went to a wedding in Wisconsin. It was literally on the Great Lake. It's like waves like the ocean, man. It's freaking crazy. And like boats go down from like rogue waves in the ocean and stuff. I mean, not the ocean, but the the Great Lakes.
Yeah, man. If you can't swim, don't boat.
Can't see it here. Seats taken.
Seats taken.
All right. Shout out to Dylan Keith, Sarah Keith. You know who you are. Thanks for taking me out to breakfast.
Kenneth Walker. All right.
All right, guys. We're gonna just end this episode. We might as well make 4 separate episodes since we're doing this.
You want to end it?
Yeah. It's gonna be 10 minutes here in a second. So
Okay. Yeah. Just
all right.
All right.
We'll be back with the them Chicago Bears with the amazing Justin Fields, who I do believe in.
On the
Jason?
dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon. Later. Okay. Okay. What's up, people? Jason's teaching me about the other football. You know what Americans know it as soccer. I tried out for a soccer goalie once, and I had to go run, right? I ran through all the mountains and the hills. Then I threw up and I lay down, and the coach had to come pick me up because he thought I died.
For a goalie?
I was like, dude, I'm like 6'3" and long, man. Give me some gloves and let me freaking work.
Yeah.
But no, they're like, we need you to run. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna be at home. See you later, soccer.
Yeah. Pokemon's on. See you later.
Baseball
See you
player.
later, soccer.
I'm a baseball player. I run 90 feet, and that's it.
I sprint 90 feet and then I go to the bench.
Yeah, No kidding. All right. So we've gone over the Vikings, the Lions, the Packers. Now we're going over the last place team in the NFC North. My wife's team, the Bears. Like I said, dude, Bears fans are amazing. I went and watched a game in Chicago, watched the Pack on Thanksgiving. Dude, Packers fans are freaking crazy, Jason. They're like insane. They make it's like when you go to Oregon and like you watch Trailblazers, like you become a Trailblazers fan because everybody is so crazy.
Yeah, because you got that one team, and
Dude,
everyone's like, "This, I've been cheering for this team since I was in the womb."
yeah, and Jason and I come from Southern California, so there's a lot of teams. Everybody loves. I mean, I love the Dodgers and the Lakers. I didn't really care about the football until I started playing fantasy, which was later on in life.
Yeah, well, they got like 3 football teams, 4 baseball teams, 6 hockey teams, 4 basketball teams. It's like, yeah, it's all split up
Good job, Jason.
by area
So
codes.
we're gonna go over the free agents for the Bears, and then we're gonna go over their needs, their biggest needs from the beat writers. So we'll see. Then you can put that together and see if they addressed it or not. See if you can be happy with your team. Jason, I know
Yeah,
you know. Well, I'm going to talk about one dude, and then we'll talk. You can talk about the rest.
okay.
DJ Moore coming over. He played 97. I mean, he was the number one for the Panthers, and he has had like what 3 1,000 yard seasons in a row with the worst quarterbacks in the league. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so I mentioned this in past episodes. I think this is a bigger bump for Justin Fields than it is a bump for DJ Moore. Tyler, you said it. DJ Moore was the number one guy in Carolina, and you're also like, who else did they throw the ball to once Greg Olson left? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. So now he's going to a team where he's actually has a number 2 in Mooney. He actually has a number 3 in Claypool, and he actually has another tight end, actually 2 now, and Komet and Tunya. And this is already a run first team where you're going to see Justin Fields throw the ball 20, 22 times. Is going to be mainly rushing. Um, yeah, I don't see much of a bump coming from DJ Moore, and I see more of the bump coming from Justin Fields stock when it comes to fantasy football.
Yeah, and did you see how much he makes?
Who?
Oh man, I should not put this cat on my lap. Um, dude, DJ Moore makes 20 million a year.
Oh yeah, we all make that once you reach a certain age.
I'm in my late 30s and I'm still waiting for that payday.
Well, I mean, I don't make it, but I owe that.
Tell
In
me
debt.
about it, man. I owe that too.
Yeah.
Loan forgiveness program. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Get it going already.
You want to be a patient of this program? Please let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So DJ Moore, it's a huge bump. I think that was a great take that you said. It's not like it's gonna DJ Moore is gonna like outperform what he's been doing, but it will help Justin Fields. I think that's the biggest takeaway from that. I think that was a great take. And then I always loved Byron Pringle. He played for the he played for the Chiefs for a while. Went over to the Bears, didn't do anything. I know he's nothing, but I want to say his name, Jason, because I love that name.
Oh, I love Pringles. Every time I see it, I
And
get hungry. I get
then,
hungry.
dude, this is good. And I just put this together now once I put it in front of my face, Jason. But Deontay Foreman and DJ Moore came from the Panthers.
Yeah. If we're gonna go into that, so they are getting a a downgrade, right? So DJ Moore is, he's not gonna be the only guy. And then Deontay Foreman, he's coming from the Panthers to one of the worst offensive lines in the league. You know what? And another running back, Tyler, that they got was Travis Homer Simpson. So they got him too. Only thing is they have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So it's like, okay, Foreman did play pretty well. He did play on the Panthers, who have a better offensive line than the Bears. So it's like, okay, is this going to cut into what's their running back's name? Kali.
Dude, that's a disappointment. Was I mean, Khalil Herbert was amazing, dude. And you give him like, unlike Madison, if Khalil Herbert gets the start, it's happening. Like he's gonna get 150 yards or whatever. But
So
now, like, yeah, Montgomery totally caps that upside.
So I think they are going to give him the start. I believe that Foreman will still be involved, but they had this last year where they had both running backs in the backfield, do all these plays. Foreman actually is doing pretty well from his Achilles injury. He's still young. What'd you say, Tyler? That I have it down here somewhere. He's still only 26 years old.
Yeah, he's gonna be 27 when the season starts. And it's not like he's been a backup until last year, so it's not like he has a lot of trailing tires. But he's kind of like that Jamal Williams type. He can't really catch a lot of passes. They were lucky they had Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard caught all the passes. And even Deontay Foreman, I think, only had 5 touchdowns last year with the 16th ranked offensive line. And now you're going into one of the worst offensive lines with a running quarterback. So that does scare me. I could see Khalil Herbert winning this job, but dude, I wouldn't want to draft either of them.
So I think they're kind of like probably like 5 to 10 draft picks apart from each other. But just thought for a future is that Herbert last year played with this horrible defensive line. He still averaged like 5 yards a carry. Foreman coming in from a new system, I don't think he's going to do that 5 yards a carry. So I do think Herbert's going to win the position, but there's a good chance that overall at the end of the year that Justin Fields is going to be the leading rusher for the team.
Oh, I unpaused it and I thought I unmuted it, but I muted it. You can tell we're messed up, dude.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's getting towards the end of the video, so we're like,
dude, I did notice that, like, even though they're, I know, man, we shouldn't be talking about this, but I'm just kind of going down the list. Oh my God, this is for the Bears, right? Yeah. And then
yeah,
remember, they got Robert Tunyon. So now they're going to have 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers. They're trying to see if Justin Fields is legit or not because they need to pay him or not. Or draft another quarterback because the quarterbacks next year, there's 2 stars, North Carolina's and USC, Jason. I know USC is your team.
yeah, Khalid Williams,
Caleb Williams. And
Caleb,
then, and
Khalid,
then
Caleb.
Riley Reef, dude. He's 35 years old. He got signed to the Patriots, but he's been an amazing offensive tackle for a while, right tackle.
Yeah, he was like
35, man.
he was like their. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to like offensive linemen, if you're good, age doesn't really matter all that much, right? As long as you're still good, because you're not sitting there getting tackled and hit all the time. As long as you can stay healthy, you can play. You can play a long time as offensive line. But the thing is, Tyler, like you said, he went to the Patriots, so they had to go out and get their guard, Nate Davis, who's younger, 26, from the Titans. But Tyler, you told me before, Titans do not have the best offensive line in the league.
And they got rid of Luan. Uh, dude, the Titans, they better trade Derrick Henry because they're in a rebuild year, man. So I know they want to trade Derrick Henry. They put it out there a couple times, and depending on where Derrick Henry goes, he could be an amazing asset. Yeah, dude, Titans need to deal with that crap. But yeah, dude, I forget who Reef used to play for. He might have been a Lion for a long time. I don't know why that stands out to me, but it does.
Um, it's funny that you say that because when I see Reef, for some reason, I think Jay Ratliff for the
Oh,
Cowboys. Like he played
maybe.
for the Cowboys.
And also I
Like
want to say, Jason,
you like him because he played for Minnesota before he went to the Bears, and then he
is
played
that
for
what it was? I wonder if he
then
played
he
for
played
the.
for the Lions before he went to the Bears. He played for the
Okay,
Lions
I
for
remember
about
him on the
5 seasons.
Lions.
Yeah.
And then the Bears picked up N'Keal Harry, Jason. You remember he was the first round draft pick for the Bill Belichick picked, who he can't pick wide receivers.
Yeah.
He's been a bust. They haven't re-signed him. He's kind of making a lot of money. Um, but yeah, dude, I mean, they also want to mention the Bears had the longest list of free agents out of out of the whole division.
Yeah, they have a lot of people on their honorable mentions that are like just sitting there in limbo. Dante Pettis, Nathan Peterman, uh He said Harry's on it. Some couple of defensive ends like Al Kahid Muhammad. They got a lot of people just sitting there in limbo, but they also went out and got. Oh, go on, Tyler.
You're gonna say it right now. Say it.
I was like, they also went out and got a star linebacker. They are working on that defense, and they went out and got Tremaine Edmonds from Buffalo, who's only 24 years old, and that guy is kind of a beast, and he's going to be making $72 million out of 4 years.
Yeah, dude. So Tremaine Edmonds. So everybody, if you listen to the real life NFL world, they're saying that the Bears are investing too much into their linebackers and paying their linebackers too much. There's a reason that people don't want to pay linebackers anymore. It's all about defensive line, cornerbacks, stuff like that. But Tremaine Edwards is kind of one of those dudes. Like he's kind of a hybrid, and I can see him working out for them. And then also TJ Edwards they got from the Eagles. He played 95% of snaps. He's only 25 years old, but 6.5 million. Whereas Tremaine is making 18 million. So on the cheaper side, but still they're spending a lot of money on their those are the two linebackers that people are complaining about. But you got to give Eberflus some freaking ammo, dude. You have a defensive head coach, so give him the people that he wants.
Yeah, that is huge. Getting these two defensive players, these two linebackers. This is going to be huge for them, right? This should help out their defensive side. It looks like they're going to focus a lot on the defensive side, and maybe they're just going to do the whole old school, good defense and run the ball, just run the ball.
Yeah, I know, dude. And then they also got rid of their speaking of linebackers, Nicholas Morrow played 99% of snaps, almost 100% of snaps. And God, dude, I already lost him once. He's 28 years old, but the Eagles picked him up. So they I don't know if that was in a direct trade with the Eagles with that other linebacker.
They probably just, you took ours, so we're going to take yours.
Right. So I mean, dude, my dog's going crazy. Sorry.
I can hear him.
Yeah, I know. I would lift him up. He just wants to, you know how guys get when they want to get with a chick. They're like,
Beer. Drink more beer. Yeah, well, they also got DeMarcus Walker, Tyler, from Tennessee on the defensive line. He's a defensive end. So it looks like, they were focusing a lot on the defensive side of the ball. They also got Andrew Billings, the defensive tackle from Las Vegas Raiders, who's also 28 years old. So, these players are under like 30. One of the guys that was over 30 was Riley, the tackle, who they gave to New England. But it looks like they are focusing a lot on the defense. I can really see them doing the ground and pound like next year, as they try to do this year. But their defense.
Don't say ground and pound around this dog right here
Oh,
because he will take it as a command and go do it.
let me put me on the ground so I can pound. So I mean, we're going to see what's going to happen. There's also going to be probably some big things that happen in the draft this year. I would be surprised if the first round is not an offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, so let's get to their biggest needs, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Because whatever. Their number one biggest need, Jason, is an edge rusher. So
okay. Well, they got an edge rusher from Tennessee Titans.
And I messed up when I said that. I think I said because I was reading all these articles before I started, and I think the last thing that stuck in my mind was actually the Bears. And so the Bears were actually only had 20 sacks in 17 games, which was the worst pass rush in the NFL last season. So that's why they need edge rusher. And then and also, I mean, I'm just going to all include this. Their number 4 need or the number 2 need is interior lineman. So they did not get John Hargrave, which they said that they should have went hard after. They ended up paying up on all those linebackers, Jason.
Yeah, well, Hargrave was like, should I go to the Bears, who are last of the division, or should I go to the 49ers, who is one quarterback injury away from going to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. I would take less just to go to the 49ers. Plus, they're going to make you look better. And you don't have
Oh,
to play in
absolutely.
like freezing cold weather on a crappy field. But hey,
Hey, I got a question for you, Tyler.
hmm,
If there was one running back, and this is not a trick question, this is your opinion. If there was one running back that you would start in fantasy football against the 49ers, who would it be?
against the 49ers?
I mean, I wouldn't start. I mean, if you had to, you always start your first round picks, you know, in fantasy
Probably
football.
Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs, I think he said that because Nick Bosa said that he was the best running back he's ever played against ever. After that game, that Josh Jacobs kind of went off on him.
And if I remember, yeah, Josh Jacobs did pretty well that game.
That's kind
This
of
was just
cheesy though, is what I said that. But I would want a pass catching running back against the 49ers, though, to be honest.
this was a conversation that came up on one of our social medias, and it was like, well, I would start a running back, but it depends on who. And I'm like, I don't know many quarterbacks or running backs that I would start against this team. This defensive line that's probably going to kill it for the whole year, barring any injuries. So I wanted to ask for your opinion.
Okay, because we talked about John Hargrave. I was waiting for like, what? As I say, what did you say? What was your opinion?
I said you don't start anybody against the 49ers.
Josh Jacobs, man. But that's just coming off a recent bias or whatever. Plus, if Nick Bosa tells me that you're good, I'm gonna believe you.
No, don't get me wrong. I think Josh Jacobs is good, but I think their quarterback that played well that game is no longer there. Now they got Jimmy. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure anymore with Jimmy G.
No, you're totally right. Um, like I think that the 49ers would be the defense that I would pick up. I know that your dad's gonna pick him up way before me, but I would if I can get him second to last round, I'm going defense
Yeah.
over kickers. And then next up, Jason. So we talked about they need trenches, man. Trenches, trenches, trenches. We talked about how important this is. Real life and fantasy, you need to pay attention to this. Offensive tackle is their number 3 need.
Yeah.
So
I mean, their tackle was actually they got rid of their tackle. They let their tackle go to New England, so they're going to have to refill that.
and they're trying to see what Justin Fields has. So they've got the wide receivers. Now they need the protection. So like Justin Fields, yeah, he can make a lot of things happen on the run, but like they want to see what he can do in the pocket. When I watch those games, he's just like it's literally scramble for 10 seconds and then he settles and throws. That's how Kyler Murray was, when he was really being successful and he did bad. So I can see where inconsistency is going to happen. I mean, Lamar Jackson was like that, but he had the offensive line of the Ravens, who's always invested in the offensive line. So the Bears need to invest in offensive and defensive line more than anything.
hmm I agree. I think this is a make or break year for Justin Fields. I think they're giving him all the weapons that he needs to throw the ball to. I am predicting that they are going to do some draft picks for the offensive line. But if this is a year that if you're not going to do better than Jordan Love and the Packers, might be time to move on from Justin Fields.
Yeah. And then Jason, in the same light, interior offensive line was number 4. So, dude, we're going like edge rusher, interior defensive line, offensive tackle, interior offensive line. So it's pretty obvious what the Bears need. And every bad team has this problem. Dude, if you don't have an offensive and defensive line, like you need to have an outstanding one or the other to be halfway decent in this league. And the Bears have neither. So I mean, dude, like Whitehair is slated to have $14.1 million salary cap hit 2023, which makes him they're gonna cut him. He's like a veteran or whatever. Um, dude, it's just Mustafa started 16 of the 17 games, and he's not even good at center. So their center, they're talking about cutting or getting rid of him, and he started 16 to 17 games last season. So it's just, dude, like they need a total overhaul of this offensive line.
They're going to have to revamp it. I mean, when you're starting a tight end that you don't even want to start, but you have to because he's probably the best that you have at that moment, it looks like there might be a revamp of offensive line, which they should do. Tyler, you mentioned it multiple times. They have one of the worst defensive or offensive lines in the league.
And then Jason, I think this last one's funny. So we're just kind of going through this, but whatever. Um, the last need is the core as another wide receiver, and they're talking about how their best bet would be to trade for one like T Higgins if he's on the market. But T Higgins is not on the market, and they got the top dude on the market. So if you are a Bears fan, you should be happy about they addressed their biggest offensive need. No, I should take that back. Their
Probably
biggest
second.
skill position need.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do with Claypool. Are they going to put this guy in the slot? Are they going to put Mooney in the slot?
Yeah, because they've got him under contract for a little while. I'm pretty sure he's still on his rookie. He's still, he was supposed to be the next big thing. If you listen to the fantasy footballers, that Mike dude was like preaching him hardcore, and he did terrible. But he's usually the right out of the three, even though I don't like him the least. Even though I like him the least out of the three.
I like Jason.
I like Jason too. Jason's funny.
Yeah, and Andy. Andy's cool.
Andy's professional. Andy's Jason's funny, and then like what's his name is just kind of stuck in the middle.
He just wants to be there so he could get paid.
Well, dude, he was on the Pat McAfee show, and he did like he tried to be funny. Like I could try to be funny, it never works out. Like you got to like.
And Pat McAfee probably beat him up.
Like you see these guns, bro? I'm from Pittsburgh, bro. I'll
Pat,
get Boston Rob on your ass.
Pat McAfee like does his podcast on like a wife beater.
Yeah, I always used to think he was pounding fucking beat.
Oh, we
I
got.
thought he used to think that he was. I thought he was used to be pounding beer. But yeah, dude, that guy just drinking straight up energy drinks all day. That's what he's all about.
Dude, he reminds me of a Pat Trammell.
You could take him, Jason. I could box him. You could wrestle him
At once. I box him.
What?
You box him and I wrestle. I'll go for the ankle. The walls of Jericho. I'll do the walls of Jericho. And he just hits.
Do you know what Sting does? Mother. He does because he announces wrestling stuff too. But
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, dude, he wears like the tightest clothes and goes up there and announces like the wrestling stuff. His legs are huge and he wears tight clothes. If my legs were huge, I'd probably wear tight clothes too, man.
That's what happens when you played in the NFL. You could do that.
He was a punter, man. He just did nothing. He's like he was a quad father.
But he was the coolest punter.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, he's one of my favorite. He's got to be my favorite sports. I don't even know anybody that's more real than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he cusses and he gets away with it. But guess what, dude? You and I, we need all the people we can get. Once we get, hey, if you people wanted us to cuss, and we have 1,000 subscribers, we'll start cussing.
Yeah, we'll cuss all night long, mother.
We'll cuss. You think we don't cuss? We'll cuss with the best of them.
Yeah, we'll cuss with the best of them. If you don't believe me, suck my.
Woo! All right. So that is it for this episode. Jason, do you have anything else to say about the Bears?
No, but that was fun. That was a fun episode. I can't wait to go eat some Taco Bell.
Yeah, I'm gonna start working this data, and then I've got pancakes, dude. I've eaten what's 8 times 8 and 16, 24 pancakes in the last 3 days, Jason.
Oh, that's amazing. Brittany makes like birthday confetti pancakes, man.
Dude, I'm just like, I make pancakes, sausage, and hash browns. Oh my god, dude, with syrup all over it. I wish I could eat eggs, but my wife is like, well, she'll throw up. So like, I'm just keeping eggs out of it.
Eggs come from buttholes. Don't eat them.
Jeez. You might as well go eat that turd out there, boy.
Yeah. Go get like that corgi and eat some turd in the morning.
That's $1 an hour. Do chickens have large talons? All right, guys.
Good.
If you stuck around, if you're watching this right now, that means you're a super fan, and you should hit us up, please, because we'll have a listener league if we have anybody that wants to play with us.
We had one guy, but we lost him. We don't know what happened to him. Matt, where are you, Matt? Matt,
I need to check to see if he's still subscribed, but I don't know if he is. He was there, man. We were terrible. You'd assume he's here now.
I know. Maybe he's doing some secret mission.
He's like, sorry guys, I'm going dark. Zero dark, Matt.
Zero dark 30.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're coming back next week with something. Who knows what it's going to be? And we are not.
AFC South.
Yeah, and we are not alcoholics. We just happen to drink on one night of the week, and do an episode. We've been doing this all year. If you've been watching us, usually there's like 6 sober episodes to the one's drunk episode. But guess what? They're all drunk now. So that's
Yeah.
what you get, people.
And now I'm hitting up an AA meeting.
What? All right, guys. This is Tyler Big Turd Ward, Jason the Lucky Bastard, and we will catch you on the flip side.
See ya.